Cool.
Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with
Morning, Facebook folks.
You get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. Our company specializes in low-cost SR22 auto insurance. We know that mistakes happen and offer free quotes for very affordable auto insurance meant specifically
When's the last time you were in a car
overpaying
accident?
high-risk driver. The quote is
That was
free.
like your
We'll handle
fault.
the filing so you
When I worked for the
Call
dealership.
800-749-2984.
I actually was driving one of their vehicles one time.
Even better.
Yeah. I plowed into the back of this car that was stopped on I-10, and I was in a Highlander. I was distracted by a billboard, and totally my fault.
It's time to get on the right path. Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry and Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Just thinking, like, how this is like the worst place on the planet to drive. Now, I got hit, of course, last year in the Subaru, but
Yeah.
last accident was my fault. Was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
713-785-1817.
Why is-
Toll free
why is it not?
877-881-0271.
That's
Here's
good.
Tom and Jason.
All right, fellas, hot mics.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate, 713-785-1817. I say it so fast, I've got to say it twice. 713-785-1817. You can call in today, ask questions. We're going to talk about building wealth and income. You're going to shop for some mid-century modern
You're not supposed to tell them what I'm doing on my computer.
Yeah.
I'm checking every day now.
Are you really? All right.
By the way, did your furniture guy get back to you yet?
He hasn't.
Yeah.
No. In fact, I was checking because I was making sure that it went through, and it's kind of odd that he hasn't.
All right, so let me tell you guys a backstory before we start talking about, your legacy and more important things and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
sure.
So I am,
Oh,
my wife and I were upgrading. You guys know we bought a house this summer. I've talked about that on the show, talked about it at the weekend retreat, talked about that whole process. And I tell that story to really tell a marketing story. If you guys come out to the weekend retreat, I'll tell you the whole when you buy a house and furniture and all that other stuff. In fact, if you want to go to the weekend retreat, now's the time to sign up. Send an email to support@rightpathrealestate.com, and we'll get you signed up for our weekend retreat, which is where we share with you how we built a 100-house-a-year house buying company. So in any case, I'm always shopping for mid-century modern furniture. So I found this desk, and the guy said, "Hey, man, it's in rough shape." So I bought it for $100. And I just knew if I brought it up here to the office, Tom or his dad would say, "Hey, I know a guy." Because they always know a guy. It seems like between him and his dad, that I know a guy that could do this, right? So I bring it up to the office. I guess it was yesterday. You took pictures of it and sent it over to him.
Yeah.
So in any case, we're waiting for his guy to get back to me. So if there's anything you need in the city of Houston, Tom
that's
or
legal.
your,
I don't know
that's
drug
legal.
dealers or people like that. I've never done that, but
But you and your dad probably know a guy.
yeah, right.
And if y'all don't know a guy, then I may know a guy. It's pretty hard for us not to know a guy.
Yeah.
And that's literally how the conversation starts with, "Hey, so Tom looks at me and goes, so that desk there." And I just looked at him, he smiles, he goes, I know a guy. I said, "Yeah, I'm not. I didn't even ask." And I just knew you were going to tell me you know a guy. I was waiting for that. So
And sure enough, I called the person, hadn't
That's
talked to him in
right.
like 9 years. She goes,
Yeah.
is your, yeah, and she, identified me just based on my voice. Apparently I have a voice made for radio.
yeah. So she's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
I think I have a face made for radio.
Yeah.
That's what she said, yeah.
Yeah, and then like 5 or 6 minutes, we get the owner on the phone. They're like, "Yeah, send us some pictures, man. We'd love to do it." So anyway, that's what we know a guy. And you know what? That's part of doing business in real estate. It's so funny. We've been talking about a network your net worth is directly related to your net work. And so one of these days we were talking about a network marketing business, and what I think is so funny is people's aversion to network marketing. And I'm like, dude, if you're in real estate, you're a network marketing person.
I had somebody that was here at our meeting last night, and he said that, this lady said she was talking to a coworker of hers, and he goes, "Oh, that's one of those pyramid things." And I'm like, so they work for this particular retailer, and I'm like, do y'all have like a CEO like that? And is there just like one of those? And then how many people report directly to him?
Yeah.
Like 3. And so I put 3 circles right below that. I'm starting to. You mean like the org chart that you're currently involved in? I mean, it's like
you got.
Jeez.
You got an org chart now. Of course, they say, "What's that?" Then you're like, "Oh, well, we got a problem."
Yeah, right.
Get your org chart out and look at it. Tell me what it looks like. Oh, it looks like a pyramid, doesn't it?
Well, here's the other thing: is that last year, her 401k was worth $18,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, her 401k is worth $22,000.
Okay,
so that's good. It's growing,
not
right?
bad, yeah.
Except for she makes $50,000 a year, and she puts 9% of her income pre-tax in. And her company matches 3%, 100% of the 3%.
I know.
So
fund manager needs to be fired.
She puts $6,000 between her and her company. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand the math. You put 6,000 in, and your program only grew $4,000.
Yeah, you're
and she goes,
losing money.
"Oh my God, I thought I was making money off this thing." I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, you're not.
You guys need to look at the real interesting discussion. Of course, last night was the State of the Union.
Yeah,
and truth be told, I really didn't want to watch it, but I watched a part because I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch the State of the Union. You go, okay. I mean, some of the stuff I agree with, some of it I don't. Of course, the Democrats are being a bunch of big babies.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, you watch the news later, and then the news later will say, Trump ate babies during the State of the Union. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about? Right. I didn't see any of that. Right. So we're watching part of that, and I'm on Facebook.
But they were live babies.
They were, each live babies. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That's probably the part of the show that the opinions of the show are not necessarily those of the station.
Yeah, exactly. We are on a business talk station, so we can get away with a couple of things. But anyway, so I'm on Facebook, and I'm reading some stuff, and there are all these Bitcoin people, all these quote investors. I love investors that brag about investing but never share their numbers.
Did you see that Facebook is they're gonna stop sponsored ads on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin?
I love it. I love it. So, in any case, this guy said, "Hey, I bought long enough ago that I bought for $5,000, and he said at the peak my net worth, I shouldn't say my net worth, my investment was $150K. In other words, I made $150,000.
Yeah,
I mean, not bad, right?
Sell.
Well, here's the problem. So now he said my stuff's worth like 73.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I mean, when you got it, he said, I made 73,000. I said, no, you lost 80 grand.
Yeah.
And so there's this interesting thread going on right now where I'm involved in. I'm like, you lost $80,000. Well, I only bought it for $4,000. Okay, so let's go back and add up your 401k. Those of you who listen to the show, go back and figure out how much you've put into your 401k. Let's say it's $300,000 over the course of, 15 years, 20 years. That is now worth $1.5 million. If it drops from $1.5 million to $750,000, you lost a ton of money. Well, Jason, I've put $300,000 in. I'm positive. I'm like, no, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not. So, and here's a fascinating thing, Tom, and I love it when you talk about this. You're doing Bitcoin or whatever nonsense investment you're doing, capital markets. $1 million portfolio falls to $500,000. So you lost 50%. Tom, what rate of return do I have to get back to $1 million?
You got to go to 100%.
You need 100% rate of return to get back to even.
Let me grab my calculator, just check my math.
Did everybody get that? No, I think this is an important point because a lot of people miss that. It's worth $1 million, gets cut in half.
Yeah, if it goes up 50% from the 500,000, you've only gone back to 750,000. Yeah, you're not even all the way there yet.
No.
Yeah, 50% drop means you got to have 100% gain to make it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why cash flowing real estate makes a lot of sense because it's like, yeah, I bought it. It produces a couple $100 a month in cash flow, regardless of what my equity position is. Because, by the way, we can use leverage in real estate where you necessarily can't use that in your portfolio. I mean, you can. You have to buy.
We also
companies
started
that are
going
debt
through
leveraged,
like how many years it normally takes for you to double your net worth, right? And if you even use the number 7 years, which is that's about a 10% rate of return if you're going to get a doubling every 7 years. And this girl's almost 30. She'd like to retire at 65. So if whatever she's got now at 30, then if it doubles at 37 and then doubles again at 44. And then doubles again at 51, and then doubles again at 58. She's only got one more double. And so it's like, hey, how much do you have now? Because that's going to and the trouble is we've been talking about how much it takes to even generate $5,000 a month of income if it's coming from an investment that's earning like 7%, right? Which is just ahead of inflation. And the number is staggering. I don't want to give away on the air. If you want to find out, come to our free event on Thursday night. It's the Wealth and Income Building Workshop. That's where we're going to talk about how much money. But, it's amazing to me, not knowing is not a plan. It's just, and she's been engaging in other conversations with coworkers like, hey, when you think about a money plan, what do you think of? When you think about retirement, I mean, what does that look like? Well, I guess most people are saying, well, I don't really think about that. And I'm like, well, that's, at what age do you start thinking about that?
You know what? I met her at her last. If we're talking about the same person, met her at the last weekend retreat, and I can tell you can tell certain people. It's just like in the Matrix. Are you going to take the red pill or the blue pill?
Oh my God! I said that.
Did you say it to her? Okay.
Last night, I'm like, this is really a lot. Have you seen the movie The Matrix? And I said, it's the red pill or it's the blue pill. I mean, it's like some people just don't want to know. They want to go through their life, and then they wonder why they become Democrats.
So I'll tell you what's funny. I had a guy explain it to me this way. He said, "You ever cook a turkey, bake a turkey?" And I'm like, "Well, I smoke turkey. Well, I smoke my turkeys, so they don't go in an oven." But anyways, he says, "Well, they've got that little probe that pops out," and he said, "A lot of people they never get this. The little probe is never done, right? It means the turkey's done." But he said some people that happens when they're in their 20s, some in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Some people it happens when they're in retirement, and it's really too late for them, right? So it literally is the red pill or the blue pill. And you can tell she's taking the red pill. She's starting to figure out, this stock market thing, this investing with my company nonsense, this money manager is not going to work.
Yeah.
1 minute.
And then you start looking around, you go, oh my gosh, what will work? I'll tell you when it happened for me. It happened when I was 28.
Yeah.
I can almost tell you to the day when it happened. We went on a cruise, and I took, some people take a luggage full of stuff. I took a piece of luggage full of books and read all about this stuff. And that's when I started getting
interested. I bet your porter loved that piece of
Oh,
luggage.
yeah. And we're going on a cruise next year. So, of course, there's going to be another thing full of books. No, it'll just be a Kindle, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
So, all right, we get back from the break. We're going to talk more about how to build income and wealth with real estate. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Hey, good morning, Joel.
Oh, I love this song.
Yeah. Oh, Nikki, I didn't see that, so okay, we'll get to that.
Oh, do we have a caller?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell him we'll get to him as soon as we come back from the break.
Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes,
Did you watch
private entities, and much more. Many of our clients
the
loan
Democratic
money from their
response?
Oh
IRAs
my
to
gosh.
real estate deals all over the
That
country.
dude.
We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes,
Trump,
and free
and this is
consultations
what
with an
happens when
IRA
you get an
specialist.
adult
For
in
more
Washington.
information,
And I'm not the biggest
visit
Trump
our
fan.
website at
But he's a business
questira.com.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Call
And
us
so
at
business, to a certain extent, it's my way or the highway, but there is some compromise as to
You
the
have
place
to.
of
If
business,
you
right?
ultimately want to get something done, you understand that you're going to negotiate the best deal you can, right?
He pulled the classic sales guy technique on him. Said, all right, what is it that you need in order to make this decision on the
Right.
Dreamers, right? Oh, well, we don't want you throwing the kids out. And if you remember that for the last
right.
6 months, it's like, oh, these kids, and they don't know Mexico. They never. And so Trump said, okay, cool. I'll give you the kids, but grandma and grandpa and all the uncles and aunts got to go.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, well, wait a second. He said, well, that's what you told me you wanted.
Right.
So I just gave it to you. So guess what? If you don't strike a deal with me, you're going to look like a moron.
Yeah, right.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. It's going to be great.
And I loved his line, hey, the Americans that were already here, they're dreamers too. Oh my God,
That was marketing just wham!
Snap. Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's when you realize there's an adult in Washington. Oh, Daddy just showed up to drain that swamp. So I like it.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi looks like she's been drinking from the swamp.
Dude, I have read through various blogs. She has got some major health issues.
Yeah.
They're just rumors.
Yeah.
But it's like,
some of them between the ears.
yes. Yeah,
Some-
mental, not physical,
Yeah, right.
mental health
Yeah,
issues.
right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
there should be some kind of just like the president, right? That he's got to release all his medical
Yeah, at some point in
records and all
time,
that.
I mean, should you be in a, one of the 435 people, 435, I think is the number of congressmen.
And the Senate is the most powerful body in the world.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to say it's more powerful than the executive branch or the president, but holy cow, it's one of the most powerful branch in the entire world, not just the United States, but in the world. The Senate is insanely powerful.
I'm Jennifer Hernandez.
Just
the Hernandez team
McCain's another one. I mean,
Oh
he
my-
had brain cancer and all that other stuff, and it's like,
Yeah, just step down.
it's time for you to go, bro.
Yeah. The pension's already locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get any more just for staying another 6 months.
To consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
And all the reporters, they'll still come and ask your opinion, even if you step down.
Well, you know what I would like to do? I think I don't know if I want to be a senator, but being in the House of Reps, I think would be a lot of fun because it's a total freak show.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, it's just crazy. But then to be on the lobbying side, I think the business side of Washington is fascinating. There's a bar right there on K Street, and we haven't been to D.C. in a while, but we ought to go up there and go hang out because it's a lot of deals get brokered. My understanding, right? And I can't remember the name of the bar, but it's right there on K Street. It would be a ton of fun to go just to watch.
Train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right.
Last time I was in D.C., we were at the.
Order so it gets done fast.
I was up there for a conference, speaking at a conference, and we were at the bar right there next to.
So give us a call today.
Where is it? I can't remember, but it was. We saw a bunch, kind of power brokers there. The guy that was with us works in D.C. And he said, "Hey, you recognize that guy?" I'm like, "I thought I did. He looks different on TV," and it was a lot of fun.
All right, fellas. Jim from Houston is on hold.
All right.
All right, guys. Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. Our call-in number is 713-785-1817. At Right Path, we want you to put your fear of growing your wealth and income behind you and get started in real estate investing. Jim has put his fear of calling behind him. Jim, welcome to the show. What can we do for you?
Thank you, Tom. I need a guy. You might know a guy. I'm looking for someone to help with the rehabbing that is in line with some of the numbers I see when a wholesaler sends in and says, "Here the call, here's the repairs." And I know about due diligence, I have to do it, but even y'all's numbers, some of the things that you suggest, for rehabbing. I'm looking for, I guess, a contractor that's investor savvy that works on those kind of numbers. I'm struggling because every time I find something, I can't do anything at that price, and so that's what I'm looking for.
So there's, I want to mention this, and then Tom is probably going to go off on the whole rehabbing thing. Here's what I'll tell you. What I've noticed is that what one investor will do on a rehab will be completely different than the next investor. Like we'll see, someone will say, "Oh, it's a $30,000 rehab." Even if the number's the same, the scope will be totally different. Especially with new investors, a lot of times they'll over-rehab it. Tom, you've had a ton of experience with that, meeting with investors, and where do you get the rehab numbers from?
Yeah, in fact, when I was running Fast Track, and especially in the early days when I was walking all the houses, I would walk, a house with one investor, and they would come up with a scope of work, and let's say it everything that they wanted to do to the house, let's say that came up to $32,000. And based on that $32,000 number, their numbers didn't work anymore. That the rehab had to be at $25,000. So then they would walk away from the deal, get their, exercise their option, get their money back. And then, lo and behold, another week or 10 days later, somebody would call me up and say, "Hey, I've got this property under contract." And lo and behold, it's the same house. And at first I was tempted, hey, let me just go ahead and send you over my bid. and the reality is that I did that once and learned a very valuable lesson, that it was a completely different scope of work when I walked the property with that same investor, and the next bid was actually only $27,000. Now, $5,000 doesn't sound like a huge chunk, but on a percentage basis on that size job is a big deal. Here's what I'll tell you is, there are a lot of wholesalers out there that just stick a flat number out regardless of what the square footage of the house is. And when you first start getting savvy in real estate investing, what you start learning is the dollars per square foot on the rehab really matters. And so what you can do for $10 a foot is pretty much the same on a 1,200 square foot house and on a 2,000 square foot house. But it's $12,000 on a 1,200 square foot house, and it's $20,000 on a 2,000 square foot house. And as the house gets bigger, if it's a 3,500 square foot house, yes, it's $35,000. So you're doing the exact same thing, basically flooring and paint and, some light updating of kitchens and bathrooms for $12,000 on a smaller house and $36,000 or $35,000 on a bigger house. And so that's the first thing, that if wholesalers would get that, I think that their numbers would be a whole lot better. And then aside from that, we also have an app. You probably know about it. It's the Right Path Real Estate app. It's RPRE on the Android. It's Right Path Real Estate on the what's that other phone? iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, the iPhone.
The Apple thing. Yeah. Yes, I am an Android guy. And so you can download that app, and that's really based on Fast Track's numbers. And I think Fast Track is probably the most consistent with their numbers of any investor-friendly remodeling company out there. I know other people that will say that they can get it done for cheaper than what Fast Track is, but not on a turnkey basis. I mean, so they really run it like a business. So you can find, a crew that if you have one job and he's not busy, then you can count on maybe some cheaper numbers. But if that guy were to have 6 crews, for example, he'd be running around like a chicken with his head cut off, because he wouldn't have the systems and processes necessary to grow and scale to that size. And so when you have a company that's large enough to accept, lots of jobs simultaneously and sequence those properly and things like that, about the cheapest it can be done is Fast Track. They run on about a 20% gross margin, and that's all they run on.
And that's perfect. And I tried to use Fast Track, but the problem is Fast Track's not doing anything above an ARV of 300.
Oh, is that right? I wasn't aware of that.
So I'm looking for somebody like Fast Track that will deal with ARVs in the 400 range.
How long ago did you talk to them? Because they just started
2-3 weeks ago.
Oh wow, that's news to me. I didn't know that. I'll have to ask them next time they come on.
I have actually tried to call. I actually tried to call when you had Fast Track on there.
Yeah.
To ask, but I didn't get the number in time.
Yeah.
In time I called back, it was right at 10. So
you may.
I talked to you early this time, but
check with Elijah. Is Elijah the one that you talked to?
Is his name Mike?
No. Check with Elijah. Their number is 832-742-9992. Check with Elijah, because I know that they just started last week a $500,000 ARV house for us. I mean, we've knocked it down to $420 due to the flood, but it's truly a $500,000 house based on the neighborhood, and they're doing a $75,000 rehab for us. Now, granted, I know.
You probably got a little more pull.
Well, I'll say this. It's not so much that I've got pull. You might be surprised. You've got family, right? So it's not so much that, but it's yeah, right. Well, the issue is that they know my style of what it is that I want done to the house, and I know their style, so that it's really more that than it is. It's like it's the experience of working together. For example, Jason. Maybe he probably has more pull than I do, but
actually that might be true.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
we could probably send him a text. Let's see. You're getting a text right now.
Yeah.
I think your dad might be listening, because he sent me a text.
Oh no, Nikki's saying Fast Track's on the show tomorrow, so we can ask him on the show tomorrow. So make sure you call back tomorrow and ask.
I will listen tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. Uh-huh.
One of the things to keep in mind too, so we're doing this flood house down in Bear Creek. One of the things that we did is we got together as a team and looked at that scope of work and said, what is it that we need to do, and what is it that we do not need to do, right? It's the should do's, could do's,
and must do's, should do's, and could do's, right?
So we sat down as a team and said, what are the must do's, and what are the should do's, and what are the could do's, and we've ranked those things, and then said, okay, anytime we buy a flood house that's built around this year, this is what we're going to do, based off. And really, that house in particular was already, sheetrock was stripped all the way to the ceiling. I mean, it was, so at that point, it's like, well, yeah, let's go ahead and do plumbing, right? We're here, let's do it. So,
especially since it was galvanized and it was actually leaking while we were there.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
And it was so funny. I was about to run outside to turn the leak off, and then I was like, wait a second, there's nothing to get wet in here.
It's bouncing on the slab, and there's no cabinets.
Yeah, there's no cabinets, and there's not any wood. I mean, it's kind of, so the other thing you've got to consider, too, is that, back to your point, Tom, what's the trim level? Fast Track may look at a job and say, man, this is way too high end for this $350,000, $400,000 house.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily always the price range. It's that is there so much cornice work and detail. A trim carpenter is really that's probably one of the hardest. It's a lost art. A really good trim carpenter that can run a good miter saw. I mean, that's a lost art.
I'll tell you what, I had worked with, early in my career, I'd worked with a GC, and I use that term lightly because the guy was horrible. But he had a 3-man crew that built custom cabinets on site, and they were works of art.
Yeah.
They'd get in there, and they would draw out what the cabinets need to look like on the wall. And then it was 3 guys. They'd bring in table saw and a couple other saws, and they would just bring these and just build them right there on site with all the trim. They were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And that's why I use that guy, because this guy was amazing. I wish I could find his contact information, because Tom's right. I mean, those guys, the guys that are real, true artisans, real craftsmen, especially at the woodworking, they're just
a pain
hard to
in the
find.
rear to work with. Also, because
they are.
They're really a little bit like that artist guy that you're like, well, I really. The moon is full today, so I decided I'm going to take the day off. I mean, they're quirky. They're quirky as all get out.
When I ordered that print that's sitting in my office, it's a custom print where I had the artist sign it. I just sent him a check, and I'm like, if I see this thing in 6 months, I'll be amazed. And sure enough, it showed up about 3-4 months later. It's just like, those guys they're not business people, right? They just do it because they love it, and they're incredibly good at it. But
yeah,
it's hilarious. So that's one thing to consider when you are comparing bids and all others, to make sure it's all apples to apples. And here's the other thing I'll tell you. If you want to manage that job yourself and manage all those subcontractors, it will be cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost you your time. I'll tell you another place is, if you want to go to Home Depot and buy the tile that's on sale, and the flooring that's on sale, and the paint that's on sale, and the trim pieces are on sale, and the light piece, will you get a better deal?
I wouldn't even do that if it were my own house. If I were building a house right now, I'd just call Curtis and say, just build it.
Just build me a house, Curtis.
Yeah.
I'm in this. Although I was at Home Depot this weekend, and I'm going through, the aisles and picking stuff out, and I'm sitting there thinking in the back of my mind, can you imagine somebody who's rehabbing a house? You're a lot of you guys, most of you guys that listen to this show, you're corporate people. You work 60 hours a week. You got kids in school, or maybe your kids are out of school, but you're working a lot. You're in the twilight of your career, or you're building your career. I just can't imagine, because I used to be this guy where I'm like, here I am at Home Depot. I've just put in another 10 hours today at work. Now I'm going to put in another 3 or 4 hours on this job site picking out tile. And it's just like, is there an easier way to invest? Is there an easier way to expose my personal net worth to real estate? And that's when we figured out all these systems. So what's funny is,
1 minute,
people will push back on us to say, well, I think I can find a cheaper contractor, and I think I can do it if I manage all the subs and pick out all the tile and all that. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. But I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. And sure enough, they come back to us dreary-eyed. Oh my gosh, we made a little bit more money on this deal, but man, I worked like 20 hours a week on it, or 10 hours a week. And I'm like, yeah, and how many houses did you not buy where you were goofing around with that? Yeah, I get it. I'll just call Fast Track next time. Like, okay, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want with your time. It's not my time. You're not hurting me any.
Right.
So, but it is painful to watch you go through that lesson over and over again.
Yeah, I think a major lesson that people need to learn, and it's not really the question that Jim was asking, because it's he's just saying, hey, I'm ready to find the guy, right?
Right.
And the only other company that we really will vouch for is what's his name?
Oh, it's Brandt's company.
Yeah, right.
Invest Home Pro.
Yeah, But he doesn't really have the same capacity, and he kind of
that's the only problem. Yeah, he just doesn't have the capacity like Fast Track does.
Right, he hadn't scaled to that same level. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. That's 713-785-1817.
Mike's off, right?
All right, let's troll the wife a little bit here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just sent her a van. Minivan.
Just the sound of that word makes people cringe. At Anderson
Oh, I have to find out how we're getting from the... we're leaving on the same flight, right?
Yeah,
So is Colby? All three of us are on the same flight?
Yeah.
So how are we getting from the airport to the hotel?
I don't know.
It's free, but you have to like schedule it or something?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And don't forget to tell us
Here we
you
go.
heard
Planning
about us
retreat.
at Right Path Real Estate.
Oh, and
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in
Call
turnkey
Elijah.
remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself.
So
No more
Sarah
doing
was
the work
telling me that
yourself.
one of her friends
Fast
told her
Track
that
Remodeling really
one of
does
her
manage it
friends,
all.
So
when
give
they
us
go
a
to
call
Disney,
today
they just
at
go to downtown Disney. He's like, kids don't know the difference.
742-9992.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing.
Can I ask you something real
We've
quick?
got free weekly educational
So y'all are on the radio
classes,
tomorrow, but I had a guy
networking
called in today and said
opportunities, and the ability to tap
that
into
y'all aren't
trillions
doing
of
any
dollars
rehabs
for
on
your real
ARVs
estate
above
investing
300.
deals. Come by our office
Is that
or
right?
join us remotely as
Yeah.
we simulcast all
He said
of
that
our
Michael told him
educational
they're not
classes
doing. Y'all aren't
every
doing anything
Tuesday
of
morning
ARVs
and
north of
evening.
300.
For more information,
I'm like,
call
that
us
didn't
at
sound right, but maybe.
1-855-FUN-IRAs or visit our website.
500. So y'all go up to 500.
Selecting a
All right,
foundation company
cool. I'll announce that on the radio. He said he's going to
repair
call in
is
tomorrow.
Like a game of chance. You simply don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry
Yeah, right.
license,
Got it.
Nor is it regulated.
Okay,
However,
cool.
Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files.
Yeah,
to
sounds
do the
good.
best Foundation analysis in today's market.
All right, thanks, bye.
Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346-702-3825.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, I knew that didn't sound right.
Yeah, right.
Unless it was out. I know they've geographically made things a little bit tighter. So unless
Yeah,
it's
they
out
don't, they don't go to Conroe anymore.
Closing on
Yeah.
time. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer at Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and we have mastered the 30-day close. We close on time, accurately, and with tons of
So
communication.
this is what Nikki said.
You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator.
Now
and a
she's going to
contract
change
close
this.
associate.
It's not Right Path
Give me a
Team
call
Building
today
Night,
at
but this is the email she wants to do.
713-579-3611,
Yeah, I saw some of
and let's
that.
talk about how
I
we
think
can
we're going to
help
reword
you
it
on
just
your
a
next
little bit, but it
transaction.
looks pretty good.
NMLS 514497.
Yeah. Okay.
As a real estate investor, you rely on
And I was thinking we need to go ahead and issue their discount codes.
Yeah.
Which I think we can do pretty easily.
Yeah, and you misspelled retreat. Currently the weekend.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
you-
there was. I took out retreat. Veronica had me put workshop.
Well, actually, it just says the currently the weekend treat, not retreat.
Ooh, it's a treat.
The weekend treat is $11.97.
Save you time and money. Call Principal Inspections.
Oh, we probably shouldn't discuss this on live on Facebook,
or
huh?
online at
Doesn't matter.
principalinspections.com. License number 21264.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much.
I'm a
it's
novice
worth, and
investor
more
looking for a
importantly, what to
novice
do to
investor in
maximize
Katy
your
and Cypress area that'd
investment
be
while
interested in
mitigating
coal
risk. This is
wholesaling.
exactly why
That
we
sounds like a
started
train wreck
Next Gen
waiting to
Appraisal.
happen.
Next Gen is a group of appraisers
I don't know what I'm
specializing in
doing. I want to
investment
partner
real
with
estate.
somebody else that
We
doesn't know what they're
understand that
doing.
Investors aren't just looking for a number of
Oh, dear.
Hey, we're an experienced investor. We'd be looking to partner with you on
Give Next Gen
co-wholesaling.
a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle
All
for
right,
mediocre
fellas, 30
results?
seconds.
There's a better place to invest. The experts agree. Single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers a 9% preferred return and up to a 13% waterfall. Call us today at 281-915-0906 or visit our website, jbfundservices.com.
I think this
That's
thing with Andy and Andre is going to be
281-915-0906.
awesome.
I agree.
This investment is offered to
I was thinking about it this morning.
This is Business 1110.
Yes, sir.
All right. You guys ready?
Sure, why not? Let's do this thing.
Okay, here we go. Hot mics.
All right. Hey, welcome back. Everybody's hands go up.
Are you raising the roof over here, Tom?
Right, sure.
You raising the roof?
Right. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I could raise the mountains, right?
Oh, yeah, give them the mountains.
Look at that.
If you guys
Raise
are
the
watching on
mountains.
Facebook Live, we just got the mountains.
Yeah. It's all right. So anyhow, Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Daniel says, I've contracted and hired a GC. GC is the way to go with the right GC. Time is valuable. Yeah. In fact, you know what? Again, we had an event last night. Had a guy saying, look, I work like 100 hours a week. I don't really have time to do this other stuff. And I said, how long is that going to work for you? I mean, it couldn't be exaggerating, right?
Well, that's what you say. Hey, man, welcome to the club.
Yeah, right.
That's what we did all day. I
Right.
mean, it's like, and is what you're doing going to get you where you want to go? You like where you're going?
And what are you doing to leverage your current time, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
5 years from now, if you don't make some changes, you'll still be working 100 hours a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does some real estate investing,
Mm-hmm.
and he does a lot of the work. Buy a house and he'll fix it up himself. I mean, like actually physically do the
Oh,
work.
no.
Because I can lay my floors myself. Why would I pay somebody else 2 to 3 times what it would cost me to do it? I'm like, yeah, because you're not counting your labor. What is your time worth?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and I told him the investment banker story. The guy that told me the time that he wanted me to take the tile work out of the bid.
I'm surprised you didn't take him to task right there and say, how much do you make an hour, man? I mean, let's just be honest. We're talking about finances here, and you make more than $15 an hour?
Yeah.
What are you doing laying that tile?
Right.
I mean, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
If you got into this business to make $15 an hour, go get a job somewhere.
Hey, we'll hire you to lay tile if that's what you want to learn how to get good at.
Yeah, we'll lay tile, put up a roof.
$15 an hour, man. Woo!
fact,
Making it rain.
I'll tell you what we need right now are guys that throw up sheetrock.
Yeah.
That seems to be a
popular commodity.
Popular business right now. I mean, shoot, if that's what you want to do that, go for it. I want to be a real estate investor. I want to go buy houses and never look at them.
Yeah.
I feel kind of guilty. I haven't been out. This Bear Creek house has been kind of a little prototype for us for some stuff we're working on. I hadn't been
But
out
you're
there.
going out there every day and checking on it, right?
I keep meaning to grab the kids and the wife and go out there because they're
it's on the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not on the way. It's in Katy. We live in Sugar Land, right? But the dudes are doing the deal with me, and I haven't brought my private. They're my private lenders right now.
Yeah.
I haven't brought the boys out there to look at the deal, and I'm like, I really need to. And I'm like, we got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
We're flying out to Florida, and then I'll be in Seattle next week, and I'm like, and then we got bike rides on the weekends. I'm like, I don't really even have time to go out and look at the house. I don't know how you people with full-time jobs go out and manage these rehab projects. I don't know how you do it. And the only way I can think of it is you're not working as many hours as you think you are.
Well, I started
There's no
doing the
way.
math. Is like, if you're working 12 hours a day, and a 12-hour day is you're working a good half day, right?
Yeah.
So 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, that only gets you to 84. Where's the other 16 hours
Yeah.
coming from that you says you're working 100? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, you're not really working.
Yeah,
100.
right.
Yeah, but I see your Facebook page, and you're caught up on all the episodes of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a real estate investor because I'm building a legacy for my family. Yeah, and I see you at every single networking event drinking the free beer and
Well,
eating
that's
the barbecue.
working.
Yeah, and
Because
you're
it's
buying
got
how many
work in
houses?
the networking name.
And then I ask him, well, hey man, what do you do? Have you ever taken any real estate education classes? Yeah, I've gone to this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. Oh, so you're a professional student. Oh, when you tell them that, they get so offended. And I'm like, look, man, I'm not here to be your best friend. Bill Belichick, I bet he is nobody's best friend on that team.
I tell you, one of the aha moments I've had just recently is that you go to these networking events. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate investor.
Yeah, no kidding.
And yeah, that's appropriate because you're here at the real estate networking event, right? And well, how many deals did you do? Well, I'm still looking to do my first one.
Okay.
Can you imagine going into a room full of doctors? Hey, what do you do? I'm a brain surgeon. Oh, well, how many brain surgeries you do? Well, I'm still looking to do my first one.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, so you're in your residency, right? Well,
I'm still working on my undergrad.
Yeah. Well, I haven't made it
I got my
through.
associates. I'm working on my associates.
That's so funny. Well, I haven't gone to match day yet, so I kind of hadn't made it there. Well, I mean, what are you doing? Well, yeah, I've been thinking about going to medical school.
See, I got my basics out of the way online while I was still living at home, because no sense in paying the high dollars for living abroad.
And here's a bunch of surgeons, like the youngest guy as a surgeon is probably making $500,000 a year.
I mean, at what point do you actually get to call yourself a brain surgeon? Don't you actually have to have done at least one brain surgery before you could you would think. So should people be able to call themselves a real estate investor until they've actually done one real estate deal?
No, and I'd even argue if you do one, it's like, okay, I mean,
yeah.
Did you go through medical school, your residency, all your specialties, so you can do one brain surgery?
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't get from a lot of people. Well, they'll look at like our deal analyzer and they'll say, well, is that how much you pay for property management? And I'm like, well, you don't do it for one house.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're not getting in this business to do one house, are you?
Right.
It's kind of like, hey, I went to college to be an engineer. Okay, great. Did you plan on doing that for like a month when you got out?
Yeah, right.
I mean, no, I plan on making it a career. Okay. Are you going to make this real estate investing thing? Now, it doesn't have to be a career. You can do it part-time, but, are you doing it to do more than one? I mean, that's the other thing I find so fascinating. When someone says, oh, Jason, I'm just looking for my first deal, looking to do one deal. Really? Just one? Why one? I don't understand the point.
Well, I want to see if it works. It's like it's like a farmer planting one seed and seeing if this farming thing's going to work out.
Let me see if it works.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this going to work?
Yeah.
What if you completely goof up your first deal? Does that mean it doesn't work, or
No,
just
totally.
you didn't do it right?
Means it doesn't work. Yeah, this real estate thing.
What if
doesn't work.
you did 10 and you weren't doing them right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we see that a lot. We get a
we do.
lot of folks that end up in our weekend retreat that have done 10, 15, 20 deals, and half of them they've done wrong. And they're like, I can see how it works.
And he says, brain surgeon, I know a guy.
Yeah, brain surgeon, I know a guy. Actually, we do know a guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, it's so fascinating to me. You go to
here's the thing is like, how much practice does a brain surgeon put in on, dead brains, right? Before he ever does his first live brain. And he's not there by himself. Can you imagine? I mean,
oh my gosh.
let's face it, a real brain surgeon has a coach standing there right by him.
It's a team of guys and gals. It's a whole team of people.
Right. And so it's like the fact that, I mean, it's like, no one's life or death is on the line except for the life of your financial future.
Yeah, it's just your life, guys.
Yes,
it's just your financial future.
Right.
And I don't want to get too dramatic.
Go ahead and do it by yourself.
Yeah, you
just
can
wing it. just wing it.
Oh, but Jason, I'm signed up for all these podcasts and I read on Bigger Pockets every day. Yeah, because that's a bastion of successful people, right? I'm going to be on a podcast. They're interviewing me. Who's interviewing me? Trevor over at Investor Care is interviewing me sometime in February. And I'm going to talk just about this issue. It's like, guys, you need a professional to show you how this thing works. It's not... I would love to sit in an interview. Most of you guys that listen to this radio show have a career in some highly technical field because you don't make real money unless you're doing that, right? Even you sales folks, I have to understand some things at a very high technical level. Could you imagine putting out a job posting and somebody sits down for an interview and says, yeah, man, I'd love to sell this oil and gas equipment. I've taken a couple classes. I'm listening to a couple of podcasts. I don't think you really need to be a degreed engineer to do this. All the stuff's online, right? I could totally learn this online. It's like, and of course, you'd sit there and you look at this guy and you're like, who's this moron? How did HR let this person through? It's absurd. It's 2018. You're not going to learn this from watching a YouTube channel. It's way more complex than that. I had a guy, I put out a Facebook post about figuring out just buying houses retail based off the appreciation curve. And I said, I wouldn't even mind partnering with people to do that. And this guy says, why would they partner with you if they can just go buy them on MLS? And I said, I don't know, because not every neighborhood is experiencing that. I said, do you know how to find these houses and find these neighborhoods? And of course, his answer was no. And I said, ergo, I have a very specialized knowledge to be able to do those things. You're not going to do that by reading Facebook. Or my favorite, the coach that's never invested in real estate or does 6 deals a year that's out in Buckswana, middle of nowhere, that's trying to tell you how to do it in downtown Houston, right? I mean, it's like there is specialized knowledge and training that you have to have for this business in order to be successful. Why do I know that? Because it's 2018, and this is a modern economy. And if you're not a specialist, you're not successful financially. You guys know that. You cannot be successful in 2018 without specializing in something. A generalist just doesn't make it. There are no look at hands-on labor. Just those guys, the manual labor person. How much does a apprentice general labor guy make? Like minimum wage. What does a plumber make? What does a master electrician make? I mean, they make great money. Why? Because they're a specialist in this one thing. Got a friend of mine, her dad owns a company that they specialize in electrical work in plants. Do you think he does pretty well? He does pretty darn well.
You mean like chemical plants?
Yeah, chemical plants.
Not like agriculture.
Not like agriculture. Yeah. But I probably got a buddy that does that, right?
I
know a guy that does that just for greenhouses, right? You've got to be a specialist in 2018. You can't be a generalist. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful, and your real estate portfolio will show that. We get back from the break. I want to talk about the schizophrenic real estate investor because that's one thing we talk about the weekend retreat, and I see it all the time that relates to this particular issue. Jason Bible, Tom Perry, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's on.
Oh, man. I went to bed too late last night.
I got...
investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started NextGen Appraisals. NextGen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know, the greatest mistake real estate investors make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At
what do you think we would pay for this domain?
Uh-oh.
In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of.
Did you get a hold of the guy?
No. Which tells me he's not in business.
This looks like a spam page. It looks like it's a poorly done website.
It is, but this is a real number. Like I've called that number. It forwards to another number. I've texted. I've even filled out the form on Contact Us and got an email back. It's got an autoresponder.
Can you send this information to Christina?
Well, I've even found out that I've looked up in this state of Georgia for real estate licenses. This is a real person.
So it is a licensed agent, huh?
Yeah. A licensed broker.
Why does she look familiar to me?
Call Foundation Check for
I can tell you who that is, but not while we're
okay.
Was that the landlord meeting?
We're not in the business of repairing.
She was at the landlord meeting. Okay.
Unnecessary peer work. But we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords.
Looks different in person than the photographs.
Occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825.
Oh, you're kidding me.
346-702-3825.
So Sarah did a group ride on Zwift?
At foundationcheck.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If you're
so Sarah did a team ride yesterday on Zwift, and so there's all these different group rides like that happen all the time.
Yeah.
And she rides at lunchtime when she's not at the gym working out. So, and I said, let me guess, there are a bunch of Brits on there. She goes, yeah, because it makes sense because they're 7 hours ahead, right? And she said they did the
yeah. So they're riding at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
She's there at noon.
Right. Mm-hmm. So these guys were doing the track that day, or the ride that day was in London. And so they do like a voice over IP thing during the ride.
So they're all talking to each other?
They're all talking to each other. So she said there were 4 or 5, there was one American, 4 or 5 Brits, and there were 200 people in this ride. And these guys, as you're riding through London, they were explaining all the landmarks and stuff.
Nice.
So it was like it was like a tour. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
So now they have a Bianchi only, so she has a Bianchi road bike. They have a Bianchi only ride with women. That's cool.
Yeah. There's a better place to invest. The experts agree, single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB
You know, this is the 4-minute section, so we definitely want to make sure that.
Yeah.
How'd the webinar go last night?
We had 20 people, 22 people.
Nice. Any signups?
I don't know. You got to ask Veronica. But I mean, some people were like, "Hey, man, it's Joe Bob from Spokane," and I'm like, "Oh, well, that's great."
You probably want to delete that, right?
What's that? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, Nick.
delete it.
Yeah, thanks. Mhm.
Okay. All right, fellas. Here we go. Hot mics.
Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So you're about to go on a rant. Oh, yeah, so on our website, we showed that we had a webinar last night.
We did have a webinar last night.
So that'll be falling off the website. But our next event really is Thursday. It's if you want to have it's an intro to income and wealth and real estate. You know what if you knew or you discovered that if you just tweak some things that you're doing in your life, that you're within 5 years of retirement?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so, would that be worth an hour of your time to come and just check it out?
Yeah.
So all you got to do is go to rightpathrealestate.com, RSVP here, go to the events tab, February 1st, come to our offices. It's free of charge. You can try talking us down on that price, but you won't have much success. And then you could discover, first off, how far away retirement really is for the average American, that what it takes to make, $5,000 a month. And we ask people in the room, typically one of the interactions with the audience is, hey, how much do you need to have coming in on a monthly basis to retire?
Mm-hmm.
And some people say 5, some people 10, some people 20. It's funny to me when people say $50,000 a month to retire on.
Yeah, and you're like, what are you talking about?
We're like, wait, have you ever made $50,000 a month working, but you want to do that not working? Okay, that's cool. So,
yeah, let's learn how to earn the income before it's I've got this war on passive income right now, but just the idea it's passive, because if you're an investor, it's really not passive. But
the only
here's what
time it
I'll
is
tell you.
passive is if it's a dividend related stock, and you're just you're living off the dividends, or you have enough to where you can stick it in a CD, and you get enough of a rate of return. CDs are passive.
But in order to get to that point, it wasn't passive, right? I mean, you got to make an investment somewhere with your money and time. Here's what I'll tell you, folks. Of the real estate investors that actually take action, most don't ever take action. We've seen it time and time again, or take very little action. They end up taking action in the wrong things. They'll have a rental property in Sealy. They'll have 2 flips in Sugar Land. They'll have 3 more rental properties in Atascocita, and they wonder why they don't have any time for their family and they're not able to grow their business. We talk about why that is at our free event, and we also talk a lot about it at our weekend retreat. Come on out Thursday night. Be here at our office, 11451 Katy Freeway. You can sign up at rightpathrealestate.com, and we'll go through the reasons why what you're doing probably is not working and won't get you to retirement, or it won't sustain you through retirement. You can always save a bunch of money, but a lot of people are praying they die before they run out of money. I kid you not. Talk to some retirees, right?
Yeah. I talked to a guy recently. He's 58 years old, and he goes, I never planned on living past 45. He said, no male in my household, in my family lineage, all my uncles, all my parents, grandparents, everybody, no male had lived past the age of 50.
Yeah,
and so
that's
he said,
interesting.
He said, at 58 years old, I'm the oldest one that's I'm the oldest. He said, I'm the patriarch of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and what happens if you live to 90? Uh-oh.
I don't
have any money. And Social Security isn't going to be there. Let's just go ahead and write that off. So, and why not make a decision now to buy 4, 5, 6 houses this year, 4, 5, 6 next, a couple more houses the following year, and then retire on that income?
Yep.
I mean, let's do that instead of trying to kill ourselves saving $1 million, $2 million that we both know ain't going to happen.
20 seconds.
All right, go to rightpathrealestate.com, register for the free event. I will be in the studio tomorrow with Build Your Team Thursday. And we'll have a best of show on Friday, since Jason and I are going to Orlando to go to Disney. And you guys have a wonderful, productive day. And see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, fellas, have a good one.